Hi, this is Amy Babcock, physical therapist. Our last section is now going to focus on handlebar bike fit position. Now that we've talked about the cleat position and saddle position, the third contact point is the handlebars. I like to think of it as 4 primary adjustments. The first being the reach, that would be the stem length, the handlebar height or the stem height, the rotation of the handlebars, which can also be adjusted through the brake levers, the handlebar and or brake lever width, or the brake lever can move medial and lateral. On bikefit.com, the handlebar adjustments are listed as similarly with the stem height shown at the top, the reach or the length is number 2. You can use either the bar rotation, as you can see in image 3, and the lever placement can be moved up or down similar to the bar rotation. And then again, the lever can be moved in or out. When determining handlebar setup for a cyclist, it's important to ask where they tend to place their hands when riding. If they tell you they never place their hands in the drops, it could be either a flexibility issue or perhaps the drop of the bars is too low and the bars need to be raised. Handlebar width is somewhat of a personal preference. However, if your handlebar width is too narrow, your hands are too close together, that can increase stress on the neck and shoulders. If your handlebars are too wide, you may have more difficulty with bike handling. You can help determine handlebar width by measuring the width of the shoulders from the AC joint or acromioclavicular joint, which is the bony prominence on the outer shoulder. This roughly correlates to the handlebar width measured from center to center. Another suggestion is just to hold the handlebars before purchase. Move them around, make sure the bars feel good in your hands. Mountain bike handlebars are going to be much wider, of course, than a road bike. The fore after the handlebars, or the reach, is a combination of the stem length and the depth of the bars. To help determine reach, we can look at the angle of the shoulder, shown here at approximately 90 degrees, the angle at the elbow, and the position of the back. If the stem was too long, the cyclist would be overreaching and too far stretched out. If the stem was too short, hands would be closer, the angle at the shoulder and elbow would be changed, and the back may be over-rounded. Most road cyclists have an angle of approximately 90 degrees from the torso to the upper arm, which is the angle of shoulder flexion. The picture shown here has the hands on the brake hoods. Jackie Lockwood suggests taking the hands into the drops, engaging the brakes, and standardizing the elbow flexion at 30 degrees for measurement at the shoulder. If a more upright position is preferred or more comfortable, the angle at the shoulder will likely be less than 90 degrees. Road bikes, touring bikes, spinner bikes, and stationary bikes are often more comfortable in a more upright position. Handlebars do have variations in reach and drop. Therefore, adjustments can be made by either the stem or the handlebars. Sprinting, cornering, and descending are more stable when your hands are in the drops. Therefore, a proper bike fit can help rider comfort to obtain this position. You can change stem height or drop by riser bars as shown on the mountain bike on the left, use of spacers as shown in the center picture, or the rise or the angle of the stem as shown on the third picture. This is an example of a riser bar for a road bike, which can be used in lieu of a taller head tube, a higher stem rise, or adding spacers. When selecting a stem, keep in mind that the length of the stem affects your reach, and the rise affects the height. That's the bar XY. So in regards to the height of the bars, a road bike racer will typically have the bars lower than the saddle height. Non-racers will often ride with the top of the bars even with the saddle or even higher. And triathletes, conversely, or time trialers will have a much lower bar position for aerodynamics. Bar height can be assessed by looking at the torso angle, which can also vary based upon hand placement, the top of the bars versus the drops. And of course, the torso angle is going to be much less in an aerodynamic position like on a time trial bike. So we've talked about width, reach, and height of the bars. Next is rotation. Rotation is the tilt of the bars up or down. You can also adjust the brake levers in the same direction. You're generally looking for a neutral position of the wrist or the position of comfort. The most important aspect of positioning the brake levers is to ensure that the cyclist can comfortably grip and squeeze the brake levers with no discomfort or problems. When cyclists suffer from lower back pain or upper back pain, it's important to assess the bike fit, particularly the drop and reach of the bars. Additionally, you want to assess flexibility. You can see on the image on the right, the center top picture as well as the left bottom picture. The cyclist has more of a neutral, slightly rounded position versus an excessively rotated pelvis or increased lumbar flexion, which over time could increase stress and strain on the lower back. Additional considerations for both bike fit and injury prevention include making accommodations for anatomical discrepancies, ensuring that we have enough strength, there's no muscle weakness in the core or the lower extremities, and accommodating for inflexibility as needed, particularly of the hamstrings, gastrocnemius, and quadriceps. And keep in mind training errors, such as a rapid increase in training, lack of sufficient recovery time, riding in too high of a gear, not spinning enough, or the inability to push the higher gear, such as when you're climbing, based on lack of strength. Working on good pedaling mechanics, particularly at an early stage, can help reduce stress and prevent injuries as well. In summary, a good bike fit can improve comfort, bike handling skills, efficiency, and reduce injury. Most road fit guidelines can be applied to mountain bikes, but generally are more relaxed and not as aggressive. Most importantly, go out, have fun, and try to keep the rubber side down. Thanks for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me at my email listed below at amyb@agilept.com.